Sometimes the sale has nothing to do with the car. Sometimes it's about noticing the thing a tired mother can't say out loud and caring enough to do something about it. Hello, I'm Frankie, founder of Auto Dojo, the path to excellence, and welcome to today's Auto Dojo Quick Hit. 5 minutes, 1 skill, 0 excuses. Let's go. The best salespeople don't just sell cars, they see and serve people. And that makes all the difference between selling a car today and creating a customer for life. Because a customer is never just a payment, a trade, or a unit sold. They're walking in with a whole life attached to them. Stress, hope, embarrassment, pride, fear, maybe a breakup, maybe a new baby, maybe a fear or a dream they have been carrying quietly for years. And if you only sell to the obvious needs, you miss the needs that matter most. There's a reason this episode is important. It's important because the unspoken needs are often the real needs. I want to tell you a true story from one of my client dealerships. This dealership had recently read Unreasonable Hospitality by Will Guidara, and their dealership and frontline team members had dedicated themselves to look for ways to deliver on the principles of that book, which, by the way, I encourage all of you listening to read. A woman came in needing a new car, but she was just coming out of a very painful divorce. Her financial picture was pretty rough, so getting financing had been challenging. She, with her 12-year-old son, who she'd picked up from school that day and brought into the dealership, ended up buying a certified pre-owned vehicle from the same brand to fit into her financial limitations. The salesperson helped her get approved, helped her through the process, and did something most people would have missed. He paid attention to details most people do miss. While they were waiting to go into finance, he noticed the son's baseball bag that he had removed from their trade-in. It was old, beat up, tattered, the kind of thing that had clearly been used hard and loved hard. Earlier in the sales process, the little boy had mentioned that his dream was to be a Major League Baseball player. While the mother was in finance, the salesperson went down the street to a sporting goods store and bought the boy a brand new baseball bag. It wasn't more than about $50 or $60, and when he delivered the car to the mother and son, that new bag was sitting in the front passenger seat. When the mother saw that, she started to cry. Her son was stunned and so excited. And she wrote a 5-star review on every social media channel that she had access to that had almost nothing to do with the vehicle itself. It had everything to do with being seen and cared for. That's the kind of moment people never forget. And it is the kind of moment that changes the way they talk about your store, your brand, and you for years. Harvard Business Review has written for years about the power of connecting with customer emotion and the danger of ignoring the human side of the buying experience. That is exactly what is exemplified in this story. When you see the person and maybe their pain behind the purchase, you create trust that no discount can touch. And let me be clear, this is not about being soft, it is about being perceptive enough to notice what matters. The car was important, the bank approval was important, the payment was important. But the little boy's dream, the mother's challenges, that mattered too. That's the part that gets people to remember you and gets you customers for life. Because the customer may come in thinking, I need transportation, but what they are really often thinking is, I need hope, I need dignity, I need someone to understand what this moment means to me. That's your assignment. Not just to ask, what car do you want? But to ask, what matters to you right now? Not just to hear the words, but to hear and acknowledge the life underneath them. That is where loyalty is built. That is where referrals come from. And that is where you stop being another salesperson and start becoming unforgettable. And here's the real beauty of it all. When this salesperson told me the story, he was clearly impacted. It created such a sense of happiness that he was able to do something like that for someone, and he was still feeling that impact when he told me the story 2 weeks later. Which leads me to this point. If you want to snap out of a bad mood or a negative attitude or just live a happier and more satisfied life, do something kind for another person and make it a daily habit. So go do it now. In all of your customer interactions this week, write down one unspoken need, one personal detail, and one way you could show the customer that you noticed something that truly mattered to them. Then do one small thing that reflects that awareness. Why is this important? Well, because people remembered who cared enough to see them. When you meet the need that was never spoken, you build a bond that lasts far beyond the sale. And that is how you create those customers for life. So go take action, keep the customer first, and go dominate your floor. To receive these directly into your inbox every week, scan the QR code you see here, and I look forward to serving you in the Auto Dojo soon.